Root Mobile presents Root Amplify in association with CNBC TV 18.
Welcome to this conversation on digitization and customer engagement, right? Well, the best sentence I can remember on this issue is a former Citibank CEO, 𝗙𝗘𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 saying at the Global Mobile Congress that today we are a technology company with a banking license. So that I can understand is what a bank is, but I can tell you the customer has also evolved. My father retired 30 years ago as a managing director of a company. But about 5-6 years after his retirement, and he was, an avid newspaper reader, he said, I'm not able to understand newspapers these days. Why do they put an E before every word? So, you can get outdated very quickly. The customer has evolved so much. But Mr. Vaidyanathan's bank has to cater to all kinds of customers. Those who understand the E and only swear by electronic or e-commerce, and those who don't. So it's a challenging task for the banker. But digitization clearly has made them technology companies. On that note, Mr. Vaidyanathan, thank you very much for joining this conversation. Just begin by telling us, how has technology, first of all, opened new doors for a bank?
See, as you know, a bank does many things. It enables transactions, enables savings, enables loans, enables insurance protection, enables investments. So think about it that a banking system usually do all of these things, maybe 5 needs. So let me talk about just one of them to keep it simple. So let's talk about loans, the one which we commonly encounter. Now, traditionally, when you look at loans, until about 5-6 years ago also, you probably lent on the basis of income tax returns. And unless you had a certain critical mass of a loan, say 2 or 3 lakhs at a minimum, there was no viable way of doing a loan. Now, you're able to do even a 2,000 rupee loan or a 10,000 rupee loan or 20,000 rupee loan paperlessly, digitally, and get back excellent repayments, like as good as 99.7%. So the short point is therefore is that with the evolution of technology, you can do short-tenor loans, which you could not do before, so it opens up a new market.
So basically, you've expanded an India that can be banked.
You expanded India that can be banked and expanded certain segments to whom you could not lend to. Think about it like a small kirana shop, right? You could never lend to that party. Or a person, a hawker who's selling on the basis of QR codes. You could not lend to them at all. The only people who lend is probably informal market at whatever rate of interest, maybe hundreds of % or whatever. So that ecosystem which could not be banked before has been opened up. So think about that, money was available only to the rich or emerging rich. Now it's available to the poor or the emerging middle class.
Yeah, no, for businessmen, for citizens, and for policymakers, that simply means a larger part of India is credit-enabled, so to speak. I'll come to that in a minute. But before that, what is even more fascinating, and which is what I began with, is the rapidity of the march of technology. Can you tell us how banking was 5 years ago and now, with just a few examples?
Okay, let's take this one example. Now, say 5 years ago, if you wanted you give a loan, you wanted KYC. So someone would give you a license photocopy. It's fudgeable, but today you're doing thumbprint biometric. It's much more authentic. Then let me say that you need to evaluate income. So for income, somebody would give an income tax return. Somebody could fudge it. Now you're retrieving it through bank statement of account. You can't fudge it. For doing cash flow evaluation, somebody could do errors on a computer. Now it is coming through a scan. You basically get a statement of account of a bank statement. Some machine reads it. Machine analyzes it. Machine tells you what is the average balance customer is keeping in the account, and you're lending. Suppose collections. So earlier was doing some phone, somebody was calling the customer and saying, oh, pay me the money. And some agent would go to the customer's home. Now nobody's going because you can send a UPI link and customer paying by UPI. So if you think of left-hand stack and the right-hand stack, left hand being 5 years old and today, the whole stack end-to-end has changed.
Okay, got that. Now, you said that you're able to give a loan even to perhaps a 50,000 or a 40,000 rupee guy, something that was not economical, say
Viable.
5 years ago. How educated or illiterate, if you please, is your customer? Can you really digitally approach that person and digitally take back the money from him?
See, the funny thing is that they may not be illiterate, as in they have not gone through any courses and graduations and all that stuff. But everybody's learned to use UPI now. Yes. And for all practical purposes, they have become e-enabled, if not illiterate. And by becoming e-enabled, they're able to participate in the formal system. I'm telling you, our lending institution just started in 2010. Now we are 2023, 13 years. We have given 30 million loans. 30 million loans to people at the bottom of the pyramid. I can't say necessarily bottom and, let's say, emerging middle class.
Size? What ticket size?
Maybe 20,000 rupees, 40,000 rupees, 60,000 rupees. 30 million loans to people who want to buy cow or goat. In fact, you know, Latha, the other day, we finished financing 1,000 crores of financing for toilets. Toilet. And you know the water fittings that go in toilet. And ticket size 40,000 rupees. Repayment is 99.7%.
How is that possible? I can understand that they leave a digital footprint behind and therefore you are able to check their cash flow and pay the money, or rather give them a loan. But how do you ensure that they will pay back? What do you know about their, their willingness to pay, even if the ability is known?
Well, you know, this is a very insightful question, because actually for that pyramid, willingness to pay is very good. In fact, you know, think of people who run away from this country and go to other countries and take, walk away with maybe thousands of crores. Actually, the poorest people are the best people, actually.
All right. So that's something which has been your experience.
And I'm telling you, we have done the business for like 13 years. You've been, of course, grilling me on all your shows all the time. Not 1 year in 13 years, except COVID, gross NPA crosses 2 and net NPA crosses 1. How is a miracle possible? Because the small customer wants to pay back better than anybody else. Okay. And they are e-enabled. That's a very big factor. E-enabled.
Yeah, they've enabled. I get that. I get that it is enabled, and I get that you have a lot of ability to digitally map your customer. Can you tell us how the ecosystem has changed? Why is it you're able to better map them?
See, the ecosystem has like massively changed. Today, one is you're able to hit the Aadhaar system through API, so you get the identity. You're able to do not the traditional models of the judgmental scorecards and regression scorecards. Now you can use AI/ML scorecards. AI/ML scorecards are really powerful. AI/ML scorecards can tell you that a mobile number starting with 7 is a better risk than somebody starting with a 9, or so and so. It doesn't, not a real example, but I'm giving an example. Or AI/ML can say that a customer taking a mobile phone purchasing between 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock has a better risk repayment than a customer who's purchasing between 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So these kind of conversations, AI is enabled to happen. So the second change is that. The third thing is that ability to, telecom providers. So for example, there are customers who leave no track record even in cash flow statements. But the mobile company knows this customer has been a mobile operator for such a long time. This customer travels from this location to this location every day, for this period of time. There's a billing of this customer, and they know the utility bills. So basically, using that information, it enriches the quality of lending. So all I can say is that the quality of lending has been going up because of more data and ability to consume the data.
Oh, that now I'm getting some new insights into how Jio Financial might actually shape up.
Absolutely.
Since they have both telecom and perhaps retail information. But Mr. Vaidyanathan, what other databases? You said Aadhaar. Are you, is the GSTN database ready? Is IT database ready?
They're superbly ready. Even today, account aggregator is up and running for information, and it's really good. You can
account aggregators were something you use a lot.
It is Nandan Nilekani's brainchild, and I don't know, it just turned out to be one of those most masterstrokes. Because today you can access and you can know what are the other accounts the customer has. You can see the balance in those accounts, and you can have a consolidated view and then take a lending decision. And all this we're discussing only the lending side. Now switch over on the deposit side. On the deposit side, again, this is enabling insights. I'll give you one example. I think it'll make the point. So today, if you think of customers having a bank balance account with you, so traditionally, what do? Traditionally, you send a statement of account. But now, you don't have to, if you, instead of sending a passbook, if in a statement of account digitally, you only digitized it. You've not done much well. But now, bank can analyze the information and tell you, end of the month, that listen, this is where you spent your money, this is how you should be spending. In the next 10 days, your EMI is coming up, you don't seem to have money in the bank, why don't you fund your balance? Those kind of insights can come. It can say that, listen, you seem to have a home loan, you seem to have 2 children, you have a spouse, and you're the only earning member in the family, there's no insurance, why don't you take one? So this kind of quality insights can come.
All right. I once heard you use the word hyper-personalization. What does that mean?
Hyper-personalization is, like I said, the statement of account example. There are 5 sources of information typically available on every customer. You know the demographics, age, gender, etc. Yes. Number 2, you know the transaction of the account, your own account. Number 3, you know transaction in the account outside of your bank through account aggregator, other banks. You know the life stage of the person through the demographic route. You know the flow of information for the customer, how much the customer earns and how much the customer spends. You know the customer stock information. Stock is not about flow. Stock is about how much the customer has a loan outstanding. And you know how much the customer has assets, wealth. So now we have 5 sources of information, okay? Flow, stock, demographic, transaction, and whatever I told you. Now, using this 5 information, you can make a very precise advice to the customer saying that please do this or please don't do this. Looks like you're spending too much. Looks like you're flirting too close to your credit card limit. Why don't you spend a little lesser? So this is really...
You're able to send him alerts or...
You can send the person alert based on the information. Not, earlier what would you do? You just send statement of account. It's so boring. Because nowadays nobody gets excited by having a mobile app. I mean, everybody has a mobile app, so what's the big deal, right? Or internet banking. It's like, hello. So there's no value in it. So the value comes only if you provide a really high quality interface layer, which insights coming on top of it.
Now, I just wanted to go back to one of the sentences word which you've frequently used and all of us use. How has AI and ChatGPT changed your life? I mean, as an IDFC First Bank.
A lot of business banks do for a long period of time is anyway AI. I gave you examples earlier about how we evaluate a customer and so on. But let me tell you, a lot of people are scared about AI, but frankly, whether they like it, don't like it, genie's out of the bottle already, and it's the reality. Now, AI will definitely help reduce cost, no doubt about it. Will help, think of ChatGPT. Today, ChatGPT, you can ask a certain question, it give you a very processed, high-quality answer. The other day, I was seeing an interview or a video clip of Tesla. So what they were doing was that instead of in that clip, an AI is calling the customer and saying, hey, Mark, I believe you're looking for a Tesla car, and, how can I help you? So it says, hey, by the way, I've been looking at these cars. So this AI, and the customer doesn't know it's AI, by the way. The customer thinks it's a real person. So he says, oh, yeah, I think you should. So the customer says, okay, and by the way, I'm looking at buying a house, and by the way, while buying the house, I also want to buy a car. Oh, great, I think if you buy a house, you must also buy a car. So it's having a conversation, okay? Then it says, oh, really? So what is the car you're driving right now? AI is asking. Okay, so he says, oh, I'm driving a Chevrolet. So really, I think it's outdated. I think you must be changing it. I'm here for you. So this quality conversation is happening. At the end of the call, the customer is saying, yeah, where can you fix an appointment for me? Oh, great, tomorrow morning, I can fix it for you 7 o'clock at the dealership. So the whole communication is connected in an omni-channel communication model because the bot knows which dealership is closest to the customer's place based on the lat long, knows which dealership is available from what time to what time, has access to the dealer's system where the bot can enter the dealer's system and fix an appointment and tells the customer, go and do it. No human being, right? So this is how AI will make a big difference.
Okay, if you're going to bring all this to bear in terms of technology to your bank and to your customer offering, what are the dilemmas you face? This could be expensive, and in 5 years, even earlier, you may find this legacy. So what are the typical dilemmas for a banker?
No, it's always there. See, the thing is that, first of all, we start with the proposition that this is dramatically improve customer proposition, right? You have to start with that approach, otherwise, you'll only be scared. It'll sound very spooky to you, but it has to start with the proposition, and it is. I believe it will make a.
Are these technologies incremental? You can administer it on your existing core banking?
No, this is
no.
This is something that can patch as a layer on top of your current application. So the whole thing is insight. For example, giving a valuable insight to the customer. For example, let's talk about this entity which is sponsoring the current program. So suppose there are lots of network operators, and suppose there are a lot of enterprises which are using it, a bank, e-com company, etc. So maybe in the traditional world, they were enabling this transaction between SMS, OTP, etc. But now I'm sure to the enterprises, they are giving, okay, that is like old yesterday. Today, we will add an analytics to it. I'll give insights to you about what's going on with the customers. So everybody's adding value to the customers through insights. And that, I think, is a very, very big deal.
What about frauds or hazards? I mean, for instance, even the Beam app was, vulnerable to the customer being illiterate.
No, it's a very real issue. But I was smiling a bit because I just connected this to the previous AI conversation. Okay. So, there's one popular scam is that someone calls you from like a friend of yours and says that, listen, I'm stuck in Dubai and, I need some money to get out of the airport, so please help me. So over time, people have figured out this is a scam. So they said, okay, I don't want to, they cut the line. So they say, I want to talk to the person. So suppose someone called you and you said, no, I want to talk to the person. So you think you're doing an extra level of check, right? Yeah. No, but when they pick up, the other person is the AI on the other side. Okay. Who put a photograph of your friend out there. Oh, and your friend is talking to the AI, I'm really stuck, man, Latha, can you help me? So you could convince you to pass money. The other thing is that on the AI thing, only the other day I found that, typically the SMSs that come for frauds, that you earn so much reward point, now they're very badly worded English. And you can spot it, it's a mistake. But you know what fraudsters are doing? They're running it past ChatGPT, correcting the English to perfection, and putting it in an SMS, and it's working. Now, the third kind of scam that we are seeing, I mean, at least we are beginning to see in a bank, is about like scam. Okay, like. What do? You call somebody and say, all you have to do is just go and sit and like so many videos, you get money. So people think, wow, man, I just have to press the button, meko to like mein paisa banta hai. So they start like that. Then the scam says, okay, give me a bank account, I'll put the money to the account. So you give the bank account, so already revealed something. Then they say that, now transfer 5,000 rupees to me, and I will give you a dashboard, like how the gentleman showed dashboards. I'll give you a dashboard, how much money you made through likes. So a person is sitting and putting all the data, saying that, oh, I'm earning so much money. And they say, okay, and then, so this digital world is leading, and particularly the AI world will lead to a lot more scams, and I think it's got to evolve.
Well, finally, I guess we're running out of time, but I wanted to ask you whether big tech is small tech is clearly an enabler, is your friend, is the customer's friend, the banker's friend, the user's friend. But big tech, do you think will take away the game? For instance, GPay. Okay, is there a fear that they know the digital footprint and you have lost your customer?
See, undoubtedly, many big techs have entered India, and all the big techs have a fantastic, really fantastic experience layer, which has been used to enable payment, for example. The thing is that many of the organizations are not regulated. It's a very important point. I don't think when God regulates them, they're their own regulators. So
they are supra-sovereign, isn't it? They are extra-sovereign.
Yeah, exactly.
Which sovereign can regulate them if you're in cyberspace?
They are their own sovereign. They are regulated by themselves. And so basically, and they're all trillion-dollar corporations. So, basically, but remember, banks are regulated entities. You could be any of those big techs. Your job is to addict children to watch more shots. Yes. Or, flick, and waste your time. But banks are regulated entities. We have a social purpose. We have a purpose to enabling trade, enabling commerce. So there are regulations, there are rules, there are KYC, there are terms and conditions. For example, if you disliked, your messaging app today, do you have a choice to say, if you don't like a particular terms and condition, do you have a choice? No, I don't want to take it. There's only one. Only one, right? Do you have a choice? No. But if you're unhappy with your bank, you can say, I don't like your bank, I change the bank, right? So banks are regulated, banks are many, big techs are monopolies, or at best duopolies, but largely monopolies. So there's a very different set of ecosystem playing between the two.
Okay, I take your point on that, but I must say that the Indian regulator is on your side. They are able to see that banks are regulated entities, that big tech at least is unregulated or at least outside the purview of their regulation. And therefore, I think the NBFCs believe that you guys have a moat, which they don't. But that discussion for another time. Thank you very much, Mr. Vaidyanathan, for a very enlightening understanding of how digitization has changed customer engagement. Thank you.
Thank you.